Howdy, this is Mackenzie Franklin from SideGame LLC here in Colorado Springs, Colorado. Today we're going to be organizing Summoner Wars 2nd Edition, designed by Colby Douch and published by Plaid Hat Games. This is a fully sleeved copy of the game with no lid lift that's organized to get gameplay started as soon as possible. Our copy of the game is also organized to have one head-to-head game or two simultaneous head-to-head games going on at once. This contains all of the expansion content up to the Cloaks and Skyspear Avians faction decks. If you have any questions to anything you see here, please let me know down in the comments below, and if you're looking for links to any of the things I talk about in this video, please look in the description of the video. If you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please make sure that you do. It is the best way to help us grow. Let's get started organizing Summoner Wars 2nd Edition. First off, we lift the lid, and inside you'll see that we have the rulebooks as well as the boards on top. As mentioned before, we have the game set up, including the starter set components, so that way you can have two games simultaneously going on at once. Give each player set a rulebook so that way they can look up specific rules or references. And then you also have your paper board as well as your cardboard board. Make sure to put those in between the two players fighting against each other. Underneath the boards, we have all of our faction decks. Each of them are stored in their own burger tokens box here. They're perfectly sized for sleeved cards, 37 to be exact, and they fit very snugly in nice two columns here. You simply lift that tab here, and inside you'll have your faction deck. The first card is going to be your summoner. On the back are its setup instructions. So it'll tell you which characters you start with, where your gate goes, and where your summoner goes. So make sure to group its starting materials up at the front as well. Put those on the board in their appropriate spaces, and then shuffle your deck up. Just pass the deck to the player who wants to be it, and you're ready to go. All of our summoners are stored the exact same way, so I'm not going to go into each of the decks, but the big thing here is you can store 2 complete columns of 4 summoner decks each, and you even have room for 6 more summoner decks. And just to reiterate, we do use the 37 cards sleeved size for the burger token boxes for each of the faction decks. In addition to the burger token boxes, we use the Ultra Pro Pro Mat deck protector sleeves to protect all of our cards. I really like the way that these shuffle, they have a nice matte finish, and they're just my preferred go-to standard sized card sleeve. On the left here, we have all our dice and tokens, starting off with a simple dice bag. You'll open it up, put it in between the players that are playing, and you pretty much want access to all of these. When you're playing just a single head-to-head match, you'll want all of these so players can have their own dice sets, but if you do split up into 2 separate head-to-heads, you'll go ahead and pass them out evenly to each group of players. You also have your tokens here to track your magic, and if you're playing just head-to-head, you can use one to track your phases, where you are in the turn, as well as one to track your magic. So go ahead and divvy those out appropriately. We've got a large silica gel packet in here for freshness. Up next, we have all of our tokens stored in these Dollar Tree containers. I really like these containers. They come 10 for $1. You simply lift that lid off, put it underneath, and it becomes a tray that you can grab things from and put back into. The tokens in particular are stored into 2 sets of 3, with each of these sets being used in one of the head-to-head matches. If you are playing a single game, you can simply divvy out these 6 containers to each of the players so they each have their own individual resource banks. These top 2 containers are going to contain all of your health markers, and the way that the burger tokens works is they have 2s on one side and 1s on the other. I really like the way that they're rounded as well. They're easy to pick up and move around. On top of that, we have a similar container for all of your boost tokens, with 1s on one side and 2s on the other. And if you need to consolidate more, we have a container with 5s for the damage and boost tokens each. The containers work great for the cardboard tokens that come in the core game and the starter set, but if you do decide to upgrade to these burger tokens, you will need to affix a penny in between the stickers for each. That's what's actually inside of here, giving them their weight, and they become this round piece that's easy to pick up and modulate, and they have that nice flipping action there. And underneath those first 3 containers, we have identical containers with boost, damage, and 5 tokens. Before we pack everything up, I really like the way that this setup allows you to leave most of the components in the box. You only need to take out those token trays or those decks that you're using for each of your combats, and it makes it so it's easy to have those 2 games going on at once. So that's everything inside of the box for Summoner Wars 2nd Edition. Let's go ahead and pack it up. First off, we'll return all of our token containers with our damage, boost, and 5 tokens. We'll put in our silica gel packet and our dice bag with our magic counters. We'll put our remaining faction decks in here, and then place the cardboard board as well as the paper mat. Lastly, we'll put in those rulebooks, and that is organizing Summoner Wars 2nd Edition. If you have any questions about what you saw here, please let me know down in the comments below. How do you organize your copy of Summoner Wars? Is Summoner Wars an old classic for you, or a new venture into this dueling style of game? What do you think of the changes to the 2nd Edition? Who's your favorite summoner to use? We'd love to hear what you think. But thank you so much for watching. SideGame Strong.